Hello and welcome to the Temple Mountain Podcast. My name is Shogun. Joining me today for the first time on the Temple Mountain Podcast, but for the 12th time on our podcast series in general, is my very good friend OpenEyeProject, aka Holy Sepulchre, aka the quantum entanglement person, he who sees the 13th sign. We're going to get into vampires, demons, quantum entanglement, and all of these subjects right away. But first, make sure you've joined the Temple Mount Discord server, and especially make sure you've joined us on SoundCloud, YouTube, BitChute, and all other platforms that you can find in the Temple Mount Discord server. That being said, welcome OpenEyeProject. Thank you for joining me today. How are you, my friend?
Every day I get attacked. I mean, I could say I'm good, but everything's good, but it's hard to really say that because I'm getting attacked every day. I've been trying to stop them by putting coffee, as like we're talking about demons and stuff. But some of these humans, they look human, but actually they're demons. Because they've been harvesting the human face, and their bodies and stuff. So, and the thing is, when I finally woke up a long time ago, I started remembering like a war, like I was I was like one of the commanders, and we lost the war and everything. And the way I think it was, because I saw a carving of a Jedi dude in California in an alien humanoid looking behind the human, but then on the right side it was like a reptilian gray, them tall ones. And I've actually had sightings of them in they had black suits, and it was like 2012 I saw them. And they were like 6 foot tall, maybe. They were they were slender, but they had these suits on, and all of them look identical, So what I do is I reference what I see in the field to other things I've seen in the field, and that was one of the aliens. But the alien that was behind the dude, the Jedi dude, it was like the Jedi, like Star Wars. He had a hood on his head, and he was a white Caucasian guy. Now, this is in America, a big carving of this guy and the two aliens or whatever. But the alien that was behind the human was looking at the alien of the right, of him, and really close to but he was looking at him like he's evil. Like, I'm watching you, But what I think might have happened was they got a treaty, or say like, I'm going to give an example. Say like if the aliens were coming and they were running from another enemy, and they came to Earth and says, oh, we need y'all help. We need y'all help. But it was just a hero's journey thing. It was there to fool us, right? So I think there's different possibilities how they, took over this planet. And then once they got settled in and everything, and then all at once they just started attacking us and destroyed all our ships and stuff, and we couldn't, and then they had this big fleet coming because they were like following them, coming this way. So there's different possibilities of that, but I'm just giving you a scenario about, the trust, to trust a different human being, just like Russia or China. It's very difficult to trust them people, especially when they got a bad record, a bad human rights record.
Right. So I want to kind of break this down into manageable and understandable chunks, because I feel like for most people who don't know you and your history, it's going to be very confusing if we present it as a monologue or as a narrative. So the first thing you said is, I'd like to say I'm doing good, but actually I'm suffering persecution. I'm suffering invasions or torture, right? And I know that's something you struggle with. So, can you speak a little bit about what kind of, persecution or suffering is being inflicted on you that prevents you from saying, I'm doing well, I'm doing good? Like, what is happening to you that you feel is difficult?
Well, with me seeing a long time ago when I was born again by a test of fire, my eyesight, I could start to see these things in the trees. I got night vision. I required night vision, but I did all these things in secret. Like I didn't get no information from nobody. I just did my own, self teaching about stuff like that. And once I required night vision and found out that they were trying to invade my body. See, what I do is I could see eternal. There's a world within the body that it's a dimension, okay? Like the first dimension, the second dimension, and all that stuff. So, but then I found out someone invaded my body, you know. I met this church dude. I was doing research on stained glass, and all this was after I was born again, and he had a crystal ball, and I found out later on he was a Catholic priest, and but he came to me and walked up to me and was talking telepathy, and I was like listening to him. It's like, wow, he ain't even freaking talking. His mouth ain't moving, and I could hear him talking. And he told me to go to Rome, and he gave me a secret name, you know. And I remember that name when I was a kid because I told my brothers, I said, my mother y'all should have named me that name. And but it was kind of weird that he said that name, and then he started talking, and he said, that girl doesn't know who I am, and it's like, I don't really know who you are neither, in my mind. I thought I knew he might be an angel because his eyes were glowing blue and everything, and his hand shuddered when he moved from the crystal ball. He had a cane and a crystal ball, I think it was, but I couldn't see it because it was underneath a hat. And he told me to go, and then later on, when his hand moved, it was like shuddering, and he shook my hand. So he actually put stuff in whatever he pulled out that crystal ball, he shoved it in my hand. And then what happened was the spirit world, they were trying to take over my right hand and everything. I could see what was going on. And
So I need to interrupt you just because I know you'll go on, but like if I'm lost, then the audience is probably also lost. So who had the crystal ball? That's the first question.
some man.
Just some man. You don't know who it
Yeah.
was.
Well, later on, I found out it was a Catholic priest.
Okay. So the Catholic priest had a crystal ball. And what did he do with the crystal ball?
Well, he put whatever was in that ball, he pulled it out and like put it in my hand, because at first I thought it was a friend, or trying to help me out understanding things. But later on I found out he was part of the system, like the movie Metrics and stuff. And but later on he was talking to me and my girlfriend, and he said go, uh he said, I'm going to Georgia next, you know after this. And I said, yeah, I'm just doing stained glass, you know um research, like trying to figure out some stories or secrets in the stained glass, like the Masons would put in there. And so after that, he walked away and he started talking different languages to different people, and they were invisible. I couldn't see them, and then I could hear him talking back. you know they were talking back to him, and then he would take another step, started talking to someone else, and it the language wasn't from this world. It was, outer space shit, whatever. And I was like watching him. It's like, I was really watching him. It's like, man, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, what I should do? I mean, and then later on, I just left him, left the church. And then I figured out that he wanted me to go to Georgia, Rome, and so I looked on the map, and I looked, you know how you look it up, Rome, and then you look at Georgia, and I said, "Damn, there's a Rome, Georgia," and I realized Highway 27 leads to Rome from Florida, you know, because I'd have to drive from Louisiana and then, you know, go up Highway 27.
So this is something you've talked to me a lot about. You say there's a road to Rome in Florida. So does that mean there's a place in Florida called Rome, Florida?
No, there's a place called Rome, Georgia.
Rome, Georgia. Okay, so from Florida you can go to Rome, Georgia.
Yeah, yeah, because you gotta
You
drive
felt,
from.
yeah, but you felt that that was like symbolically important because all roads lead to Rome, the Roman Catholic Church. So like from going from Florida to Rome, Georgia to you represented like going to Rome, like the city of Rome where the Vatican is.
Well, no, well, the main problem was it wasn't that because I knew about my mother's death. Okay, she was born on the 27th, she died on the 27th, and she was 27 years old when she died. She died in the seventh month, 27 of 67, and I was 43 years old when I found that out. So that's a lot of sevens, you know. And then the book of Revelation is the 27th book because I started doing numerology. I started doing all kinds of science about all kinds of stuff. I mean, crystals, you know, numerology, stuff like that. And but when I drove up there with my RV, I saw this camping place called Mount Zion, and he was just pointing me the way to go up there, you know, to learn something, you know, and that's what I thought, you know. So everything added up because I was looking at the high, you know, the book of Revelation and reading, you know, verse by verse, and all this shit was like coming true. Everything on in the book of Revelation was coming true. And then when I stopped at Mount Zion and camped out there in the book of Revelation, it says the um, the host of God is going to be standing on Mount Zion with the 144. You know, so.
The 144,000 being the elect or the special saints chosen by Christ for a particular role in heaven. 144,000. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, it's not chosen by Christ. It was chosen by the host or whatever, I guess. The host of heaven or whatever from another universe, I guess, that's trying to save us. But so I camped out there and it was like, damn, this is must be what he wanted me to know. I mean, because he must have known that I knew about my mother in the 27s in the book of Revelation, you know, 27 and all that. And so I went up there, and that's when I ran into them devil worshippers, you know.
So there's so many things here that I want to nail down. I know it's going to be very confusing for the audience. So we need to start with your origin story, OpenEye, because we've done 11 podcasts on the Roundtable podcast, but this is your first appearance on the Temple Mountain podcast. So my understanding of you is that your origin story as the OpenEye Project began with your realization that your mother's death had a great numerological significance. And you brushed by this, but your whole journey as the OpenEye or Holy Sepulchre, or the 13th sign, essentially began when you realized that your mother had died according to a almost impossibly unlikely numerological series of dates or numbers. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So just again, you mentioned it before. So you were previously not experiencing this OpenEye Project type phenomenon, but when your mother died and you calculated all the dates and numbers, you realized, oh my God, it's 7, 7, 27, 37, whatever. And then you it kind of opened your mind. Is that right?
Yeah, but the thing is, before that all happened, before uh, I was born again, I left my wife for the last time, and this woman, you know, I was calling all these spiritual names and shit, and I probably shouldn't have said what I said, but, you know, and I was laying in the bed, and this woman said, put lotion on you before you burn up like a French fry, you know, and then the next day, Well, I had to put lotion on my body like 3 times to cool off my body. I actually feel my body on fire. It's like someone poured gasoline on me or something, I guess. And so I took all my clothes off and put lotion on me. And it reminds me of John the Baptist, how he said, he's going to baptize y'all with water. I'm going to baptize y'all with water, but there's someone greater than me that's going to baptize you with fire. So I realized after a couple years that the same thing that happened to me must have happened to John the Baptist, because the only mythology that deals with fire is the phoenix bird, uh, catching.
Right. So I'm going to cut you off here, but your PFP, I don't know if people can see it in the recording, your PFP is an image of the phoenix, and I've actually had phoenix symbolism be a big part of my personal spiral code process. But I actually wanted to ask you something. I realize it's going to be very confusing for people who don't have all our background, but you identify with the phoenix, right? And the phoenix burned up and then rose from the ashes, right? But there's there's a contradiction here, right? Because you said you were going to burn up, and you say the spirit said you better put on lotion before you burn up like a French fry. And so you put on lotion and you didn't burn up. So doesn't that mean you're not like the phoenix? Because the phoenix actually would have burned up like a French fry and then come back. But instead of burning up like a French fry and coming back like the phoenix, you rubbed the lotion on yourself. So doesn't that mean you never burned up and therefore you're not like the phoenix?
No, it's not this. You don't understand. The phoenix myth is a spiritual thing, just like John the Baptist is spiritual, just like my thing is spiritual too. The thing is, I was born again. All my senses came. I could see better, I could hear better, I could taste better, I could smell better. All my senses were freaking elevated, supernaturally, and psychic. Even my psychic ability too got better. You know. And so, but after I was born again, that's when that preacher attacked me. And at first I thought it was a good guy, but then I realized, no, he tried to take away my right hand from me. So, but later on, I found out that the right hand is evil. So maybe he was right in trying to do that. But I didn't know that at the time. That's what's so fucking weird. I look back on that shit, and then all my research, I find out the right hand is evil. And then, so he was actually doing a favor for me. But, I seen some other visions of that dude where he was attacking me, and it says, oh no, he ain't fucking helping me. He's fucking, he's trying to take over my body or some shit. He's involved in it. But I went to do my driver's license test, and, it was right after, I got to do it at 44, 44 years old. And that's when the 44s hit too. I mean, I read that driver's license test and I couldn't read the bottom line before. I could only read like the third line, like they usually make you do. And so I told the young lady, hey, I want to read that bottom line. I could see it now. And I was telling her how I was born again, and everything was renewed and everything, like a brand new baby. I had to wear sunglasses for 2 years in indoor lighting, you know? So,
Right. So I know your story. I've heard your story many times. So I'm going to repeat it because I feel like hearing you say it is kind of confusing, but hearing me say it is what I understand. So your mother died on a date that had a lot of 27s and 7s. That caused you to be reborn by the test of fire, which made you feel like you were burning up like a French fry, but you put oil on your body or lotion on your body so you didn't burn up like a French fry. But the effect, and by the way, John the Baptist, you said, would have done this, but he didn't have any lotion. So he couldn't do that because he didn't have any lotion. But nevertheless, the effect of you burning up like a French fry was that your vision got way better. So you could even read the bottom line of the chart on an optical chart. And I did this recently, so I know how that goes. Like you got better vision, which is cool. But it also had something to do with the right hand or the left hand being evil or good. And if I remember correctly, the left hand is good and the right hand is evil. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I figured out because the evil ones of the world is attacking my left side. You know, uh, more often. I mean, sometimes they do attack the right side, but um, the thing is, that's why John the Baptist started doing baptism with water because I have ran into people uh, with I actually caught people on fire, spiritually fire. I was talking to them. The thing is, you got to be in person for some reason. I don't think I could do this stuff over a radio, or broadcast. But I met a dude from the fishing. He did rod and reels. He got killed by a swordfish. Swordfish went up his back. He made these rod and reels, and I probably could get in touch with him and Facebook him and shit like that and say, "Hey man, how you doing?" But he caught on fire, bro. He was like sweating, and it was like it had got dark, and he was like sweating. His hands were red. I mean, his face was like red. I mean, dude, he said he was like freaking out. His hands was his hair was standing up on his arm and shit. And it happened to another guy in Walmart one time too. I mean, just being in my presence, I could set people on fire, and I didn't know I could do that until later on. You know, uh, it's amazing. Look, I have seen miracles. I have seen so many miracles. Look, here's another miracle. When I was born again, I went walking out picking stones like on a flat plain, out there in Louisiana, and I was just sitting there, quiet, no, not a lot of cars, and all at once this thing right by my leg started spinning like the Tasmanian devil, and it was going like that. I was like, holy shit. And it lifted my leg up, and I said, holy crap. I got up and said, what the fuck was that? I said, you know, I guess it wanted me to get up. I don't know, or just show me some shit. But dude, uh, that was fucking. It's funny. It's kind of funny to say it now, man, but it scared the shit out of me, dude. I had no idea what the fuck that thing was. And I have seen so many miracles, man. People dying, people coming back to life too. I mean, in the spirit world. And
So I just want to ask you a question, right? So you said you saw something beside your leg that made a noise like the Tasmanian devil, but you don't know what that thing was. It's just like a random nothing, but it made this noise like.
yeah, well, I didn't see it though. I wasn't seeing things yet. Okay, right when I was born again, I wasn't really seeing things, and I decided that I'm gonna have to start uh, doing some scientific research on the supernatural shit because this thing was spinning like the Tasmanian devil on that cartoon and shit, winding up. And that's how I remember. I know about the spin move too. Because if spirits are around me, I would do that spin move too. It makes wind and shit like that. I've seen another spirit do it too, where they were trying to get him, and he was doing the spin move on them, and he was throwing these motherfuckers fucking, all over the place like some kind of X-Men stuff, whatever. And but that was one of the weird. I mean, I wish that little sucker was around to protect me, man. I don't know. I don't want nothing to kill him, but they're trying to, get me. But
Okay, so again, I want to try and establish some coherency in this narrative. So the beginning of the story is your mother died, and you noticed that there were numerological connotations to how she died. That triggered you to have an awakening, which you call being reborn by the test of fire. This caused you to feel like you were burning up like a French fry. A voice then told you, put lotion on your body so you don't burn up like a French fry. You did that, but then you had better vision, right? But then you
yeah,
started.
it was kind of in that order. Yeah, I found out about my mother first, and then that happened later on. Yeah, it was in
Okay,
order like
okay.
that. But
So
we
when
don't
you
want to keep on.
became, well, but you call yourself certain things, right? You call yourself the one who sees, the quantum entanglement person, the 13th sign, correct?
Yeah, because I'm born on March the 20th, and I'm in between the 12th zodiac and the first zodiac. So,
Right.
and that's
So you have these special statuses like he who sees or the quantum entanglement person, but these special statuses derive from an awakening that you had when your mother died, which caused you to essentially wake up psychically. Is that correct?
yeah. Well, once I saw the baby book, and then I started, my awareness was like getting bigger, and that was before I was born again, and I started sensing something was watching me, because this wasn't an accident. And then a couple of spirits came to me and says, "We've been waiting for you to wake up and stuff, and I guess this is," I said, I guess this is the time when I find out about my mother, and so maybe it was a something to do with some kind of time, the time metrics or something. But all the scientific research I did, everything I did, they always had an outcome, like laying underneath a tree. I ascended to heaven laying underneath the tree. I saw this woman up in the tree watching me, and she had a robe on, and I flew up there with her. I went up there, and what I was doing, my mind was saying, I'm gonna use the energy, the aura, and the energy of a tree, to help me see better or something. I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. And I went up there and I saw all these people. Well, I was going up there and all these people were looking down on this in this circle, hole like, and I went up and I seen them and I moved to the right and I saw all these people, and all these people were like, I was like bumping into them and shit, and they were all moving out the way and shit. And then all at once I saw this dude dressed in white, you know. And the thing thing is, it was me. No
So
shit.
you were the dude dressed in white?
Yeah, yeah. And he had
Okay.
a third eye. He had the third eyeball too. That's what
So
really freaked me out.
right, and we used the picture of the third eye to announce your podcast, and I talked about this with the navigator and so forth. But I want to tie it back to something you said in the beginning. So you talked about a Catholic priest who had a crystal ball, correct?
Yeah, he had something underneath that hat, whatever it was. You know,
Okay, so how old were you, or in what year? Like how many years ago, or specifically how old were you when you met the Catholic priest with the crystal ball?
that was about. That was after I was born again, so that was 2007. Wait, no. Shit, I think it was 2007. That was, that's what's so weird. No, it's 2006, I believe, because I was going Highway 27 in the year of, 2007 was coming up, and Highway 27 and my mother and all these things started adding up. Like, wow, dude, I'm gonna run into some devil worshippers and shit, And when I was driving up there, I saw these cloud spirits were moving with me 75 miles an hour. They were transforming into a man with a robe, a lion, a horse, and what else was it? A Trojan dude, like a Trojan hat, like you saw in the Amazon women were wearing, stuff like that. And I had to quit looking. I said, damn it. I told myself, stop looking at that. You're going to freaking wreck. I said, they're following us. Yeah, I know they're fucking following us. Some spirits are following me up there. And it's like, and that's right before I got to Mount Zion. Okay.
Right.
So
So
this,
your path has to do with realizing that your mother died on a certain day, being born again by the test of fire, applying lotion so you don't burn up like a French fry, then following the road from Florida to Rome, and also going to a place called Mount Zion. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah, that's the order. Yeah.
So tell us about the significance of Mount Zion. Where was that? What did it mean?
Well, I think the dude wanted me to go up there to learn some shit, because I didn't know Highway 27, led to Rome. I didn't know that. I didn't even know they had a Mount Zion until I was drove right, almost passed it up. Uh, so you know, ever since then it's been a roller coaster ride. And the bad thing is, I got in a fight with these devil worshippers over there, south of Rome. After I went from Mount Zion, I found a camping spot, and I paid for like a month. I was going to stay there a whole month because it was cheaper that way, That way I could scope out the town. A lot of psychics were there in Rome, Georgia. A lot of history is in Rome. A lot of magical shit, was going on around there too. So yeah, I mean, one night I was going to the bar and I saw one of the stars of Mount Zion like following me, you know, following me to the town. And then when I came back, it moved back into its place. It was like, what the fuck, you know? And then I ran into them devil worshippers, and the spirit told me, well, this happened pretty, right when I got there almost. Because I was trying to be friendly with these people and shit, and told them how I was born again and shit like that. Whatever. And a spirit told me to go clean my truck out. Now, I know my truck wasn't that dirty, but I said, if a spirit says to do it, because I never really had spirits talk to me. And when they do talk to me, they tell me what to do, like, go clean my truck out, or read about the Rosetta Stone too. Another time the spirit told me to do that too. So I went to go clean up my vehicle, and I saw this paper that wasn't mine. It wasn't nothing of mine. I got a brand new truck, a brand new RV and stuff. And so I go back and I bring it back into the RV, and I start looking at this paper. It's a diagram of all the RVs, and they're connecting me to the RV. Like they're connecting all of themselves with my RV. And I could see it, and I was trying to figure it out. So I said, well, before I do that, I'm gonna look and see what time it is, and see how long it takes me to figure this shit out. So I looked at the time. It was 6. It was daylight. No, wait. Yeah, it was still daylight, whatever. And then I started saying, hey, this is a wired diagram. It's like, oh, shit. And then what they did was they cut the corners of the paper at the top of the paper. And there was some weird writing like at the top too, like some ancient writing I'd never seen before. And then it was like a long F, like E with an F going through it, through the top of it, no, through all the letters. And so they cut and then they flipped up the corners of the bottom of the paper, and then they tore the paper in half, like opening the gates of hell on me or some shit. It looked like to me. And then I look back, it didn't take me like maybe 5 minutes at the most. I look back at the time, it's 9 o'clock, man. 3 hours passed. I lost time, And then I was pissed. And I went outside, and at night, because it was too late to go to the bar because I wanted to get there early. But I burnt that paper, and I said, you burn, you motherfuckers. You burn, you motherfuckers. You burn, you motherfuckers. And I was pissed, So a couple of days later, this girl, I knew they were fucking doing shit like that. So I moved my RV away from them, because I was like surrounded by these motherfuckers. And then I went to talk to this dude. It was his sons, 2 of his sons. I said, man, I found some weird paperwork in my truck. And it was like witchcraft shit, He said, well, he said, "Oh, you don't think that was us, huh?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know how in the hell that shit got in my vehicle. I don't know why someone would be doing that shit, you know." And whoever did it, it was like a wire diagram. I told him, I said it showed exactly where y'all were. It was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, you know. So that's where I
Hmm.
fucked up.
Okay. So again, I want to try and just try some kind of story here. So tell us about the Georgian Satanists. You've mentioned a few times that these Georgian Satanists are after you. They're trying to kill you, cut your head off. When did you first run into these Georgian Satanists, and why are they after you?
Well, that's when I went up there right before Christmas, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever, 2006. And the thing is, when I moved, I didn't know they were devil worshippers, you know. But when I asked the dude, I said, "Hey, man, some weird shit was going on last night." And, you know, it's the next morning. I talked to another dude. He says, "Well, if you believe in God, now you could believe in the devil." And it was like, "Oh boy, y'all gonna." I was like pissed when he said that shit. It was like, "Okay, you fucking doing devil worship and shit on me, huh?" You know. So, but I got, you know, and then one day I was walking the dogs, and this old man came. He says, "Hey man, someone must be watching over you," you know? And then the girl said it too. It says, "Hey man, you know, the next day the girl says the same shit like, "Hey, someone's watching over you." And I realized they were trying to do something to me, you know? And so this dude shows up. They can't do nothing to me. So this dude shows up and my ears pop. It's like, "Oh fuck." I was like, "Oh, this is the Grand Master," because when the Drew you know, you could feel someone's energy when they drive up. And I was looking in the window, and this dude was driving up. He parked right across from me, and I said, "Oh man, that's the fucking they bringing the big guns now. They're gonna be fucking around with me, you know." And I knew they would, you know, they were fucking with me because I was psychic. My ears popped open, and I could hear them talking. When that dude showed up, I could fucking start to hear them all talking, and I was like, "Oh fuck, he must be somebody very powerful," you know. So I moved my van next day, couple of days or whatever after that, just to get away from them, you know. And then the woman, one morning, my dog died too. It was like I was pissed off because I know that voodoo shit they were doing. They probably killed my dog, and I was picking up my stuff to leave because I couldn't stay there no more. And then the girl came with like a cake, like almost crying. She was fucking crying, like, "Oh, we didn't mean to be rude to you," and all that shit. It's like, what do you eat? I said, "I'm not gonna eat that," because the first thing I thought was poison in that thing. And then I saw a vision of a gun, like, you know, it's called remote viewing, but it's like it's a lot, what they call awakening dream, awakening vision, where you awoke and your eyes are open and you see a vision of something, you know. So I saw the cupcake and then I saw the gun. I said, "Oh fuck, I got to get the fuck out of here," because something happened to them people. Okay. And so I had to get the fuck out of there. Yeah.
Okay, so you were born by the test of fire after discovering that your mother died on the 27th of 27th of 27th, so to speak. You do not burn up like a french fry because you anoint yourself with lotion. You get better vision, night vision, your sensory perception heightens. Georgian Satanists start pursuing you. At some time, there's a Catholic church with a crystal ball. So, where does that bring us now, right? Like, what is your mission now? And what is your situation now, today, in 2022, May 31st, 2022?
Well, that was like a long time ago. You got to understand, that was the beginning, man. That was like 17 years ago, you know.
Exactly. And that's why I'm
Uh,
asking you, if that's where it began, where are we now? What are you
yeah.
on now? What's the mission now?
Well, every now and then, well, one time I met this dude. in the park. I was in Utah, and they must have found me. They found me in North Dakota too, and they found me in Utah. I mean, they've been sending these hitmen to have spiritual battle with me, and this one dude, I was going barefoot in the park in the grass just to get my feet grounded, try to get whatever. And this dude walks out there in the middle of the park, starts talking to me like, a stranger would do. And he says he eats rocks. We was talking about Nikola Tesla stuff, and I've been doing scientific research and all that shit. We was talking. And then later on at the end, when we was almost finished talking, his wife was on her way toward us, and he said that he eats rocks, and he had his head down like, I don't want to have to do this, like he was gonna kill me kind of thing. So yeah, and that's my nickname, the Rock. The foundation is the Rock. So they got this motherfucker trying. The thing is, they didn't tell. When they do send these people, they don't tell them what happened to them, because they don't want them to, be scared and shit. So I've been on the run for a while, but I've been doing a lot of research, out there in the field, like alien spaceships and, up in the mountains, and,
Here's my broader question, right? So you're fighting against the Georgian Satanists, you're fighting against the Catholic Church. What are you fighting for? What are you supporting? What are you on the positive side of, right? Like, we know you don't like the Catholic Church, we know you don't like the Satanists, but what do you support? Like, what is your mission for humanity?
Well, once I found out about the garlic baptism, I said, well, I was listening how they cut the angels, the angelic angels of humans. What they do is they put these implants in us, and it paralyzes us. They have technology, so they go in, they abduct people, little children, and then they just have a program where they cut angels' wings off. And I tried to get the humans out, free them, whatever. And so I did one time, and they says, "Oh, you ain't got to worry about them. They can't even fucking fly no more. We cut all their wings off, and now they can't hurt the vampires." So the vampires is the race that's the main ones that's against us is the vampires. Okay, demon vampire. I don't know. They mix blood. They mix DNA with us and shit like that. So that's why I need to do the garlic baptism too. That's another scientific breakthrough I went through. And I did stuff with crystals one time, and I caught a radio station by pointing my head toward north, and I caught a radio station in my brain or whatever. So like right now, I could take this microphone and move it around my van, and all at once it starts going off. It's like a bug detector, like something's invisible, in my van. And once that microphone goes off, something's there, but I can't see it. And that's another scientific thing I've done too. I mean, and the sound waves too. The body produces 7 hertz or 4 hertz sitting down. Well, why is the implants running at 14 hertz? That's way too much energy. Okay, that could paralyze a spirit. If a spirit is not capable of running, if you're just capable of running, say, they're probably less than us. They probably even, maybe 1 or 2 hertz, 3 hertz or whatever. But if one side of your body and all them implants are running like 14 hertz, that's going to paralyze whoever's on the other end, like quantum entanglement. Completely paralyzed, and then they harvest you. That's how they do. They're harvesting the spirit world people, and they cutting our wings off. So since I found out about this garlic baptism, this is really the most important thing that we could fight back, because the whole human race has been possessed. They've been drinking your blood. When you wake up, the Hertz thing, they found out at 4:04, your body after you walking around and working all day, your body goes up like a 12-volt battery. In the morning when you wake up like 2 volts. Just like that movie, Metrics, like the battery, you know? So what they do is they suck your energy at night, and then when you go to work and walk around, all your energy rebuilds. It's the same thing like Prometheus, like the buzzard goes and eats your liver, and then your liver grows back. That means your energy grows back. It's the same thing as the mythology stuff, Prometheus or whatever. So all these things I've been putting together in comprehension. I mean, it's like a computer. Your brain's like a computer. You get all this information, and you got to put all these things together, Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to do. I don't know if we need to go to the churches and say, hey, man, bring a jacuzzi bathtub or something, and people could get in there and lay in there, and see how they feel. Because for 3 months, I felt like $1,000,000. I had so much energy in me. I mean, I had to make myself go to sleep. I didn't even have to sleep. And what I think it was is them fucking vampires didn't want to fucking suck on me no more. That's why my energy. I go walking at a grocery store, Shogun, and I fucking touch the metal, and man, I shocked the shit out of me. And the lady like freaked out. God damn, man, fuck. It's like scared the shit out of me.
Right. So just to tie it back, what you're saying is that if people will have a bath with salt water, and then a second bath with garlic powder, this will remove the vampires from your body and give you incredible energy. Is that correct?
Yeah, but you got to have oil. I found out what they've been doing, especially to me, because I've been fighting back. They suck all. See, I be listening, and they says, oh, well, yeah, we sucked all his oils out of him, but he got his oils back, because I drink olive oil, and I got some new oil. It's called liquid coconut oil. And what they do is, I don't know, it's that saying about, when Yeshua said about the what was it? 7 women didn't save the oil for their lamps, and the other 7, did, and that's the ones that he would want, the ones that have the oil. Well, the lamp is the body. So I know a lot of answers. It's like parables. You got to figure out what he's saying. He's not just gonna throw pearls to swines, because some of y'all represent fucking swines as well. Humans are fucking disgusting sometimes, but look, when I look at a woman's body and I see all these demons in her skin, it looks like they're about to come out her skin. I mean, that's how many they have, and they're big too. And look, my body, when I started doing the garlic bath, you know what the people said? Look how beautiful he is. They started saying how beautiful I was. And then they had some other spirits going around putting garlic on, people's wives, in the spirit world. And all at once, the woman became beautiful. And it says, well, we put that garlic bath on her, and she's not ugly no more. She's fucking really beautiful and shit. So, yeah, it works, man. It works in the spirit world too.
Just to be clear for anyone who's having a hard time possibly following this, what you recommend is you have 1 bath with salt water. You drain the water out. Then you have a second bath with garlic powder. You drain the water out after that. Then you rub yourself with olive oil or coconut oil. And this is what you would call the garlic baptism. And this would remove vampires, demons, and also give you great energy.
Yeah, and it's good for depression too, or any kind of psoriasis or axillate feet. Any kind of uber goobers or whatever you call them. It might be good for acne too. I don't know, but it's a miracle. It's a miracle stuff, man. Really. And the thing is, uh, right before I saw something today, I was taking a nap to rest up so I could do this podcast with you. And I was laying down, and all at once I saw these like 3 feet tall vampire looking people, and they were like aliens, but they were like, they all looked the same. I don't know if they were demons or if they were monsters or if they were vampires. But the weird thing was, I've seen the aliens wearing a black suit. I've seen the Arctics with the white hair wearing white suits, you know, tight, like you see on Star Trek and shit. Very tight, clothes or whatever. And this is the first time I ever seen but they were like small, they were like 3 foot tall. And they were fucking strong too. They were fast. They were going after somebody right next to my probably the dude that's been fucking me over. I hope they got his ass because they were going around him like, and he was backing up and shit, and they were coming in like football, like Stargate shit. Stargate opened up and bam, and they were running, and they looked like they looked small, but I think they were fucking strong, man, strong whatever they were, and so. And I just saw it. And you know what? I haven't seen many things in color, yet, in a long time. But when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, So.
Well, OpenEye, this has been extremely interesting, as all of our podcasts have been. And I don't think we can possibly crack this in one podcast. I do hope everyone will listen to our past, like Burn Away the Darkness with Cotton, the Garlic Baptism, the War Against the Moon, and the many different podcasts we've done in the past. I'll post some of them again in general chat. But I think this was a great sort of reintroduction to your story, your origin, your mission, and your cure, which is the garlic baptism. We're trying to kind of keep these a little more bite-sized in terms of content length. So I'm just wondering, in addition to the garlic baptism, which you recommend for everybody, the bath in salt water, garlic, and then olive oil, what else do you recommend as sort of a takeaway message for people? Like, what do they need to know that you have to teach them?
Well, another thing is to wear all one color. Don't wear mixed colors. Like I try to wear white, but my pants that I'm wearing is white, but it's just dirty. So, but my shirt and my short pants are white as snow. But at night, you don't want to be wearing white. It's better to go to a gray color because white, you're glowing like a light bulb. So all the dinosaurs and dragons or, alligators or any kind of thing that wants to eat you, you're the bait, out there in the spirit world. And in remote viewing, a lot of people don't understand that you need to have a weapon, a knife or something with you at all times. Because if a snake swallows you, or a fish swallows you, I mean, you could cut your way out, And if you don't have a weapon and you're doing remote viewing, that's why I know all these Dr. Greer and, some of these other people that's teaching remote viewing. I know they don't know, what I know. And the problem is you don't go around teaching people how to remote viewing and say, oh, well, guess what? If you die out there, you don't come back to your body. Okay? They don't tell you that, So that's how it works. That's why I really don't want to get out my body, but they've been trying to pull me out of my body. It's almost every day, So
Your advice is if someone is going to do remote viewing, make sure they have a physical knife or sword or other weapon with them, because they will also have that weapon with them in the astral world and they can use it to defend themselves from astral threats.
yeah, even a gun. You know, if I would sleep with my gun. I tell you what, uh, I would tell the government. I says, look, dude. I mean, y'all have no idea what we're fucking with. Everybody should have a fucking handgun, and everybody should have a handgun when they're sleeping, and have a knife at least. Sleep with it on, because you know they could take you out your body any day, anytime, and if you ain't got no weapon, you're just gonna be the prisoner. You know.
Okay. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. But the long story short, make sure you take that garlic bath. Make sure you start with salt water, second time with garlic, then rub yourself with oil. And if you are going to remote view, try to have a weapon with you, because there's dangers in the astral world. And hopefully, OpenEye, we will do more podcasts in the future, because obviously you got a lot to say. There's a lot of aspects to this, probably more than people can kind of take in one episode. But I think this has been a great introduction. And again, anybody who wants to learn more about what you have to say, check out Burn Away the Darkness with Cotton, check out OpenEye and the War Against the Moon, and check out OpenEye and the Garlic Baptism, as well as OpenEye Salt and Light, some of the other podcasts we've done. That being said, OpenEye, thank you so much for your time. Do you have a final closing message for the people?
Well, I'm trying to do the OpenEyeProject. I mean, you could see them in the clouds, you could see them in the trees, and if you use your cell phone, you could see them through the cell phone. That's like a fourth eye to me. That I could see things, with the cell phone that I normally wouldn't see with my eyes. So, and plus you could enlarge it. Cell phone, you take a photograph and then you could make it bigger. But once you start to see them in the clouds and the stars too, because this metric we live in, dimension or whatever we live in, is very weird. So, but you know what? You got to see to believe it. I mean, that's why I'm teaching the OpenEyeProject. I'm not teaching people how to remote view because it's dangerous. I mean, I should chew a Dr. Greer's ass out in public and be on a podcast and says, "Look, dude, what the fuck are you trying to teach these people how to remote view, and you're not telling them how dangerous it is?" I mean, that's a big problem, and we probably need to take care of that really soon, because I'm gonna chew his fucking ass out about that. And if he ever listens to this podcast, he's stupid, motherfucker. Fucking teaching people. I mean, if y'all die in the astral plane, dude, you're not coming back to your body, bruh. I mean, that's simple as that. And he's not telling people that shit. He needs to teach people how to see first. That's why I'm doing the OpenEyeProject. I don't want you to go out there and get your ass killed. I mean, they got a lot of fucking creatures out there. They got serpents, snakes, fucking fish that could eat you, sharks out there that could eat you, dinosaurs. I mean, all kinds of fucking things out there in the spirit world that could fucking eat you. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell before I leave, because that's very important. I mean, Dr. Greer and all these other motherfuckers out there teaching remote viewing, y'all are stupid son of the bitches. You know that? And I tell you what, I'm going to have to confront them and say, look, you need to be telling them the fucking truth about that shit. Because they're blind. They don't see. Dr. Greer is blind as a bat. He can't see all the fucking dangers out there like I can. So, but one day we're going to get together and talk. He might even hear this broadcast. That might be the best thing that happens.
I hope so. I hope that Dr. Stephen Greer does hear this podcast someday. I hope a lot of people hear this podcast, and we will do many more podcasts. But I think for now we're going to wrap it up. OpenEye, thank you so much for sharing your perspective, your information. Very fascinating as always. Extremely interesting. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. We're not going to do a question and answer period as we usually would do, because that was OpenEye's request, but we will do a series, so tune in. And please join us tomorrow. We'll have an episode with Giovanni Dark on suppressed technology. And please keep an eye on announcement channel. We'll also have an upcoming episode on Luciferianism with Hermes and lots of other great episodes. We'll be doing at least 12 podcasts in the next 12 days. So don't miss it. 8 p.m. Central, the usual time, or 8 p.m. Pacific, regardless. Check the announcement channel. Thanks so much, OpenEyeProject. God bless you. Keep up your good work. Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Later on, man.
And that will conclude this episode of the Temple Mount Podcast. Make sure you've joined us on the Temple Mount Discord server. And seriously, for real, please like, follow, subscribe, and share. We got our new official channel managed by Crimson Raven on YouTube. We've got our new web store with Citizens, great graphic designs. You can buy an awesome t-shirt. Check it all out in the announcements channel, the Temple Mount Podcast channel. That being said, good night and God bless.